Being yourself as a woman who is ready to lay it all bare is one of the biggest tells that you are a superwoman. Welcome to Talk Central. My name is Kalechi Mumo, and tonight, wakitushika tunawazima. Lakini CCC, find out which courtroom was witness to this latest Kenyan proverb on the viral video segment. Plus, which president has the audacity to piss off the Queen of England, especially at a time when the World Cup did not go home. That and so much more is coming up on What's Hot with the amazing TC gang. So let us know where you're watching us from as we build on to a very lit show. You can tweet us at K24TV, at Kalechi Mumo. That hashtag is Talk Central. But first, she's an actress, a model, a musician with a silky voice that reigned over Kenyan R&B music industry from the mid-2000s. A mother, a wife, and a believer in the power of the girl child. Welcome, Habida.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
I got you all in. Eh?
All in.
How have you been?
I'm okay.
Yeah? That deep breath suggests that we're going to have a nice conversation. So, you know, a lot of people see Habida and they have these assumptions of who she is, where she came from, where she was born. So why don't we just take it from the beginning? Where were you born and raised? Tell me about your family background and the schools you went to.
Okay, so born here in Nairobi at Aga Khan.
Okay.
And went to school, lived most of my life at St. Mary's because my father was a teacher.
Yes, I remember that. Was he a music teacher? What was he teaching?
He was geography, and then he became the principal at secondary school.
Yes.
And then my mother was a secretary, PA.
Yeah.
And yeah, went to MSO.
Yeah.
And then, no, Green Gates.
And then
very important. Then MSO. And then Rusinga.
And then Rusinga.
Yeah.
So how many are you in your family, siblings?
It's just me and my sister.
You and your sister. She's younger, older?
Younger.
She's younger. You're
Actually, she just landed from the UK today. Yay.
Oh, excellent. Welcome home. Welcome home.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people have been confused about, like, your background, where you come from.
And it's boring.
And you know, a lot of times people assume a lot of things because your name is Habida. That's a name from the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now there's Hogan, which is your...
Moloney,
sorry.
Yeah.
Maloney, which is your surname. So that's an American name. So
it's an Irish name.
Is it Irish?
Yeah, Maloney is the Irish that moved to, like, you know, those Irish mafia guys. And then I guess the guys who stayed in Ireland is Moloney.
Moloney.
Yeah.
So it's Moloney.
Yes, Irish.
So you're half Irish and half what?
I'm half Irish. Yeah. My father's half Irish English.
Yeah.
And then my mother's half Somali, half Kenyan.
Hello now. Okay. So the whole combination, you're a mix of things.
I'm a mutt, yeah. In the nicest way possible.
In the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
But people assume a lot that, you know, 0.5s have it easy in life. You know, your life, you know. I mean, look at you. You're beautiful. You can get what you want. Was that how it was when you were growing up? I mean, I'm just trying to
But me
imagine.
and you have had this conversation before.
No, we've not had it on this show.
It is a blessing and a curse.
Okay, tell me about it being a blessing.
My beauty is a blessing because I'm able to look at myself in the mirror and be happy with what's there.
Okay.
And that took my dad telling me, know who you are. He's always said that. Make sure you know who you are.
Yeah.
Because I was bullied a lot in school. So I guess that was my curse.
You're so
See, I was 0.5. We were like 2 of us in the whole school. I think me and Lillian. Me, Lillian, and Lisa. I think that was it.
When I was in Musongai, we had so many of them, including the Jojo's daughters.
Apana. In my age group, there was, I think there was 2 I can think of at the moment, other than myself. And then, you know, you're kind of forced to be friends, so you don't even know if you like each other.
Or because you're 0.5s, hang out.
Yeah, because, you know, there's a lot of bullying.
That is so strange.
Like, I even had a friend one time said to me, I really hate you.
Why?
And I guess she had had a few drinks. And I was like, why do you hate me? Actually, tell me now.
Yeah.
And she said, because all the boys used to like you.
Oh,
but I think they didn't even know what they liked.
It's this yellow, light skin thing problem that they like you just because of what
like
you look.
Funny thing, right?
Yeah.
So because of, you know, going to school in Msongari and having to walk into the teaching, you know, teaching houses.
Yeah.
There were boys who used to wait for me there.
Allah.
So, you know, I used to strap my backpack. That's how I was like games. I even became games captain because I'd be like, right. Then I'd just,
So that you're not disturbed on the way
Yeah,
home.
then I met the guy. You know how life is funny?
Yeah.
So I met the guy. We're actually working together on some things. And I said, what would you have done if you caught me?
Yeah.
He says, thank God I never caught you because I have no idea. I was like, what? So, you know, life was
difficult. It wasn't as easy as people think.
No, to be honest, I think it's harder because there was fewer of us. And even like one time I was at Kani in the bathroom and there was someone who walked in and they were like, oh, that's... And then she was like, you know, her mother must be a hoe and her father must be a Kenyan cowboy.
Because,
you know, because you're mixed race. And in those days, you know, those are the ones that had the mixed race kids and all of that.
Like it can't just be a genuine love situation.
Yeah, so it was a battle.
Okay, that's interesting. And I guess there are a lot of people who don't know that about what it is like to be of mixed race.
And I think I used to go, you know, when people talk about you so much, you begin to think, okay, I have to make sure I'm perfect here. So I can't tell my stories, and I can't until I grew up.
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
like
girl,
that. I
you
like
just know
that.
how to deal.
And let's even just go on with school. Like, I mean, I read that you'd been into acting, a lot of theater work, and you took that up and went to a performing arts school. And at which point was this in your life that you went to performing arts school? Was it here? Was it outside?
So there wasn't really funds for university.
Okay.
So what I decided to do, because luckily for me, my father had handed me a nice British passport, you know, university or even community colleges are free for British citizens.
Okay.
So when I was about I finished high school at 16, and I moved to the UK, and I tried to get in, but I couldn't because apparently your father or parents have to be paying tax. So he hasn't been paying tax because he's
not
here.
been living there, yes.
So I had to wait 3 years. So after the 3 years were done, I went into college. So that was what, 19? 16, 17, 18, 19. 19.
Yeah. And all this time, in the meantime, were you working when you were 16,
yeah,
17? What were you doing?
Those days I was hustling. I was a waitress.
Really?
I used to sweep the floor in a hair salon. I used to, what else did I do? In London. Then I was like, okay, let me become serious, you know.
Yeah, get something serious.
Yeah, so I did something called an NVQ. They do National Vocational Training.
Right.
And I did it in admin. God, I used to die. But luckily it was in a magazine, so it was a bit fun.
So you actually were working from the time you were 16 to 19 as you wait to go to college. Then you get into college and you went into theater. That's where you started. Had you started singing at any point at this time? Was singing already in your life?
I'd always been singing. Like even here, I think Ted Josiah has recorded my first song ever.
Wow, when was that?
That's before I left.
How old were you?
I don't know, maybe 15, something like that, 14, one of those.
Right.
And so when I got to the UK, you know how the universe conspires when you're like focused on something.
Right.
And I met a Kenyan girl who was dating this Nigerian designer, and his brother was a musician. His name was Leo. So Leo gave me a contact of this guy who had a studio. So for about 6 months, I would get on the train, because I used to live in South London, travel to North London, and sit outside the studio like, please, let me sing.
So you knew you wanted to sing. You
Always.
Knew,
act and sing.
And this, both of them.
Yes.
So you did actually now train in the art, but then you were now hunting to get into a studio.
No, this is before. So I'm waiting to go to school. And to be honest, I was too young. I didn't feel like school, whatever. You know, so I was like, In fact, the fact that I can't get in has just, it's a sign, you know.
So did you start the singing before you started the school?
Yes.
And then when you went to school, did you focus on the theater work? Did you actually finish?
So I did 6 months. So I did, I think, 1 semester. And then I was like, the music had started to take off, and I'd met certain people and I'd gotten opportunities, and I realized London wasn't for me.
Okay.
Because London was pop, you know, very housey stuff, garage, all of that.
Right.
And I'm a very old soul, so like neo soul
and R&B stuff.
Yeah. And so the producer I was working with, he was signed to BMG, and he used to go to Nashville a lot.
Okay.
So he said, Habida, you need to be in Nashville. And me, in those days, you just don't need to tell me twice. Nashville. I just called home and said, Daddy, you know, you've been trying to make me go to school. What if I want to go to America? And he was like, listen, you can go wherever you want as long as you go to school. Yeah. No, he was just like, go to school, you know? So he ended up, he was awesome. He just did everything. And I got home, I did my SATs, and I was in Atlanta. Didn't make it because Nashville didn't have really universities.
Studios, right?
Universities.
Okay.
So then, because I wanted to study performing arts.
So did you so you finally got to Atlanta, you started. When did you now, because I also saw you did some cable TV while you were away as you were doing your music.
Yeah, so like being in school for acting, you get a lot of opportunities. And I had an agent already. I was modeling for a bigger agent. So they send you here, they send you there. So this one, and then online you can go to like Craigslist and look for.
So the life out there and the way you could set up your whole career was very different from here, and things were picking up.
Totally,
and I think I remember reading somewhere that you were in line to be signed up in America as this huge star who took your place, and you didn't take the place.
It's happened to me twice. So in London, that one I was like, I don't want to do this music. I was such a big head, you know? But I think focused is better.
Okay.
I'm beginning to accept myself.
And then in the US?
So in London it was, do you remember that chick? What's Samantha Mumba?
Yes. You were supposed to be in her place.
So they said, this is the music. I said, I'm not doing that music. The guy said, there's the door. I said, okay.
Then now in the US?
In the US it was Sierra.
You would be our Sierra from Kenya.
So what happened is I had the worst like sore throat, right? And then I went, and I was young, and I actually was so extremely scared of singing, which is very strange. Like, you couldn't get me to sing. It would be those of sing, and they used to do that a lot.
And then you freeze.
Sing. Then I'd be like... So this friend of mine, who I'm still friends with today, his name's Sean, he took me to L.A. Reid. And we're sitting there, and he goes... And he was very nice, and it was a test. I just didn't pass. Oh. He said, do you want to sing or you want to sing later? Like, who gets a chance twice?
It's now.
How stupid was I?
You said later.
I said, my throat is so, later. Then what he had told me is we're thinking of signing this act, but sing, let's see what happens.
Wow. And so...
Then I found out it was Sierra.
After all this happens, at some point you decide that you're coming back home and you want to do music back here. And what made you come home is what I want to know. And then was Sunshine the first song that you guys debuted? Was it your song or Nameless' song? Because there's still that confusion. I mean, I look it up online. I say Habida featuring Nameless, Nameless featuring Habida.
It's a collaboration.
Okay, it should be
Collabo Habida X. And Nameless. It should be Habida and Nameless, yeah.
So that's the song you came back to do first when you landed? Or you did another song before that?
No, that was the first
That was the first one. And we loved it. We loved it. It was epic. And we're like, okay, this song, this girl, she's going places. Mm-hmm. Then you kind of kept off kidogo. What happened?
Kept off? No. Which question? Even I've forgotten the first question.
I'm like, no, I want to know.
Why did I come home?
Yeah, why did you come home?
So my, I'd been away for a long time. Then my mom got sick. My dad got sick. Okay. My mom got sick. And I was like,
you need to be
if
home.
any, like the way those guys in the States, their parents pass and I was like, no. So I literally made the decision overnight and I packed my things. I was home in a month.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure. So I came back. I was like, hey, it's the transition coming back to.
And you left when you were so young.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not sure. But as I was here, I was done with music because music it's hectic. You have to have a very strong soul for it. So, and especially out there,
Yeah, right.
So when I came back, I was really tired. So I said, I'm done. And I even tried to get a bank job, which I got.
Wow, you were a bank teller?
No, I was going to be head of marketing for the credit card, Barclays credit card.
Wow.
But I didn't go.
Habida.
I couldn't go. I had my suit on. I'm like, I can't go and work in an office. I'll die. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's why I moved home. And Sunshine was the first song I did.
Yeah.
And it happened, I was coming in. Arcade Studio used to be like a conveyor belt. He was so efficient at his art. So you'd walk in, someone else is walking in.
Right.
So walk out, I mean. So I was walking, he was walking in and I was walking out. And RK looked at us and said,
you guys.
And you know you did what RK said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we did what he said.
So you did what he said.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? We're going to take a quick break. When we do come back, we need to find out, one, what's been happening in Habida's life and getting back into the music industry after she found her sunshine, settled down, and what is Project I Am? What's that all about? That before you get to meet the TC gang, who are excited to get to meet you. Gang, are you ready?
Yeah.
Habida is here, and yes, you are watching us on Talk Central. My name is Kale Chimumo. Keep that hashtag Talk Central going. We'll be right back.